or certain embargoes have been put in Rajasthan. Huge embargo is there on the Aravalli Hills. So the matter is pending in the Supreme Court for last 18 years. And all our premium deposits of copper and gold and all those are lying closed for several years, for 18 years now. The Supreme Court is unable to take a decision on these things. So we have to see that the mining deposits and leases which are lying closed for a very long time, they should be allowed to operate again. So this is another very major issue which we are bringing up with the government, and we are asking them to, open up the mining sector if they really want any kind of increase in employment, increase in production of the country. And one more thing where the government has put an embargo is the only auction route. You keep the auction, but for smaller mining leases up to 50 hectares, you also open the first come first serve mining route, application route. We have promised that if you open the first come first serve.
Mr. Mathur, sorry to interfere. Another 2 minutes is left.
Yeah. I just have 2-3 points more. So they should open up this first come first serve on a digital platform where there is absolutely no interference of any officer or a person. Simply all the applications go on the computer and they go on the digital platform, and the priority is decided digitally, and you sanction the lease on a first come first serve basis. And I can guarantee you that there will be 10,000 mining leases in 6 months if they open up this first come first serve route once again, especially for smaller mining leases up to 0 to 50 hectares. We should all get together to pressurize the government to open up this first come first serve mining route. For forest clearances also, now what the ministry is doing, what the environmentalists are doing, what the green activists are doing is that they are keep on increasing that area of control. Earlier, the restriction was on national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Then they brought it to reserve forests. Then they brought it to protected forests. Then now they brought in this concept of eco-sensitive zone. 800 protected areas are there. They will take 10 years to grant the eco-sensitive zone. They brought in a blanket 10-kilometer width of the eco-sensitive zone. So wherever there is an economy interface, wherever there is a mining interface with the wildlife sanctuary, they should build the boundary wall. And they should allow us to operate right up to the boundary of the wildlife sanctuary. And this eco-sensitive zone business should not be there at all. They should build the boundary wall. They should look after their animals. They should look after their trees. They are not doing their work, which is assigned to them. And they are trying to stop the economic activity outside. Another thing which you will see in the draft notification is that they are talking of a 100-kilometer zone around the coastal areas, around the international border. That will block 250,000 square kilometers of land in the country from economic development. The entire economic development is going to take place along the coastal areas of the country now, like similar to China. And they want to block that as a special zone. And they want to bring in special norms. They are increasing the control area. So we should be careful. We should tell them, please allow the industry to operate. Don't increase the control zone areas. So this is some of the issues that I have brought up, and some we have already represented to the government, and we have put this representation to the Prime Minister also. And I'll send a copy to FICCI. So we should all talk on the same line and develop a consensus. Then only we'll be able to get things done in the government. I think I've covered most of the things, what I could do in this 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
So Mathur, whenever you make a representation, please send a copy to Capaxil so that I can push it up from the Capaxil point.
I'll immediately WhatsApp to you, sir. In 2 minutes, you will get it.
No problem. But I want hard copy so that I can send it.
Yes. I'll do that, sir.
Okay, thank you. Very well done.
Thank you, Mr. Mathur.
Thank you.
Thank you, Akshadeep Mathurji. Now I request Mr. N. Mahesh, President of Tamil Nadu Granite Quarry Owners and Exporters Association, is the MD of Devi Narayan Exports Private Limited, who is one of the very senior member of FICCI and a quarry owner from Tamil Nadu. He is well aware of the quarrying sector of Tamil Nadu and will present the present scenario of Tamil Nadu industry and his views on the post-COVID scenario of 2019. Mr. Mahesh, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Respected Founder President, Shri R. Veeramani, Chairman Capex Stone Panel and Executive Committee Member FICCI, and respected President Shri Ishwinder Singh of FICCI, and dear colleagues. I take this opportunity to thank all of you for giving an opportunity to voice out our concerns. And also I thank the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Modi ji and Honorable Finance Minister Shri Nirmala Sitharaman ji for evaluating our concerns. Yeah, thank you. And then coming to Tamil Nadu granite industry, we don't have a significant impact between pre-COVID and post-COVID. I would like to make it very clear, because we have only active 960 leases now, out of which we have only 210 leases are working. So other than that, we have no much role to talk or blow our trumpets from Tamil Nadu, because we have been severely battered by the imbalanced policies and inconsistent policies and so many other factors which have hampered the pioneer state of Tamil Nadu. We have been torch for all the other states, but now we are in a very bad situation. Number one, and number two is that all these is the result of the understanding or misunderstanding of the administrative procedures of the mining. So to start with, straight away to hit the nut, I think that we don't have a standard operating manual for granite. Of course, the Extreme Focus Committee given by our chairman, Shri R. Veeramani, is in Delhi, is in place. But the standard operating manual is not being implemented by either the industry or by the government agencies to administer the mineral in a proper manner, number one. And number two is, we have been also put into a lot of hardship, because our state is having Madurai district is the prime areas where we cover the exquisite granite from our state. So that has been now.
Yeah, same thing is coming.
That has. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead, Mesh.
Yeah, and that has been hampered to a great extent with the fantasized penal proceedings and impounding facilities, and by giving all imaginable recovery ratios and all that. So the quarries have come to a total grinding halt, and all our export earnings have become totally nil there. And that means we lost about the 2/3 of our revenue from granite is stuck there. And number three is, see, what I also feel is that we should now, post-COVID, we are also from State Association, we take a representation to, reinstate all the problems and bring it to order. Of course, we are also going to meet our Honorable Chief Minister and represent the matter with the leadership of our Chairman, Shri R. Veeramani. But then, apart from that, this we will be taking, but we will also request FICCI. FICCI is already giving a helping hand for us, and we thank them, but we expect more from them also. And coming to other aspects, like what we can do post COVID, see, the SOP for the operating quarries will only give us 1/3 production. If it was 100% production, we'll be getting only 1/3 production, because there are all procedural delays will be there following on these SOPs. Plus the cost will go up. That is one factor which has to be taken into account. Number two is the migrant labor. We are dependent on migrant labor for all our operations in Tamil Nadu quarries. The migrant labor has left for their homes, and I think for reconciliation it will take considerable time. Here we again should extend our arms to mechanize the complete quarrying operations by of course we have mechanized operations, but still even smaller quarries should go in for low cost mechanizations and use machines and try to, slice down the labor component and try to, develop this matter. This is a very, very important subject now. And then for marketing also,
இதுல லவுட் ஸ்பீக்கர்
I want
போடுங்க.
also marketing also is a big aspect, because production alone does not going to contain our requirements. So whatever has to be produced, whatever is produced has to be marketed. So I think that we should completely, totally digitalize the whole thing now. They say now that touch free and all that. So we should go for a digitalization program for marketing, including where the quarries should be digitalized for block inspection of rough blocks or value added products or whatsoever. And this is another key point where we have to make some investments on this angle. Then see, regarding the China, my personal suggestion is that we have to go along with China, because they are the biggest buyers for blocks, and there cannot be a substitute as of now from other countries to buy our blocks from India, number one. And if we want to do in-house, our banking system and support extended are marginal and fragmental, and cannot support huge inventories or factory or factoring of usance over 180 days period. Such magnitude we cannot handle as what China handles, because they are capable to handle such thing. But over a period of time, we can tide over that crisis also, and I think with the support of the government, we can gradually come to that stage, but it will take time. Then the biggest challenge is for quarries, we need quarrying consumables. Quarrying consumables we are China dependent. Whatever, I think about 20% we are doing from India, and all the other aspects we are getting it from China. So we should, as a federation or association, should patronize all Indian manufacturing consumables and try to empower more production in the quarrying consumables aspect, so that we can be very competitive in that aspect. Then we also request FICCI to regulate the following. To ensure the banking reliefs given now is sanctioned to the quarrying down, percolate down to the quarrying sector, and as well as the SSA and MSME. Then also to bring to your knowledge, to implement a national level uniform policy to conduct a evaluation on new granite resources and conduct e-auction or on a more transparent method on one uniform code and contact. Then FICCI should also empower data analytics and market regulators, like what other federations in other industries do in textiles, etc., etc. Then
Sorry to interfere, Mahesh. Another 2 minutes left.
Yeah,
Mahesh,
I will
another
do
2
it.
minutes.
To get, we need clusters to be formed, as what was discussed earlier in our AHJSA. Please reinstate clusters. This is going to help your post-COVID situations now. And your clusters are going to get a lot of incentives, so we have to capitalize on that. Then of course, we need the granite manual, which has to be in place for all administrative, revenue, legal, everything. This has to be in place. And then digital integration of quarries and factories and processing units should be in place as a very good platform, so that we can have a very conducive atmosphere on the entire granite industry post-COVID. That's all. Nothing much to say there, sir. Thank you.
Password.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Your ID or password?
Thank you, Mahesh ji.
ID or password?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now I request Mr.
NKK.
Keshavamurthy, Chairman of Karnataka Chapter,
NKK.
will present the present position of Karnataka granite quarrying industry, and he is also a recently formed president
NKK
of the Federation of Karnataka. Welcome, Keshavamurthy.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the President FICCI, Shri Ishwendra Singh, for this excellent idea of organizing a webinar on such a relevant topic on natural stone mining scenario post-COVID-19.
I got a review system access. Yes.
Which will enable, Rao, kindly mute your thing, which will enable the industry to be ready for the post-COVID-19 scenario. I also would like to thank the President, General Secretary, Chairman Seminar, and the organizers of the webinar for inviting me to be a speaker on this webinar. As Chairman of Karnataka State Chapter FICCI and President of Federation of Karnataka Granite Quarry and Stone Industry, I must mention the donation to the Chief Minister Relief Fund of ₹50 lakhs by FICCI is a good, excellent first step post-COVID-19. With this gesture from the FIXI, we have generated a goodwill which will be useful post-COVID-19. In this present market condition, the production and sale to come back to its original capacity may take at least 6 months to 1 year. I have been discussing with many of the quarry owners in different districts of Karnataka, and they have many issues practically being faced by them. Some of the main concerns that will come up post-COVID-19, first will be getting migrant laborers. There will be two scenarios. One, migrant laborers at quarry site wanting to go back home. Two, new migrant laborers are not willing to come for work. In this scenario, we should work towards getting these migrant laborers from the green zone who are willing, and they should be screened and checked in their respective districts, and they should not be insisted on institutional quarantine at the workplaces districts, as it will be a big burden on the employer and employee. We should also work towards interstate, inter-district transport permits for free movement of stone for domestic and international markets, which will increase the frequency of vessels and rake movement in rail. At present, few quarries which have started in few districts of Karnataka is only operating at about 30% capacity. Time and again, FIXI has been deliberating on the issue of shortage of raw materials for the processing industry in our country. Due to the absence of industry-friendly policies of quarrying operations in various states, wrongly comparing us with major minerals, which existed pre-COVID-19, times will become more acute, very severe post-COVID-19. In this scenario, the solution would be to get state governments to engage with stakeholders, CAPEXIL, and industry bodies like us, as we bring to the table our years of experience in the field, including,
Go ahead.
Including international exposure. The various industry reports we have got prepared with the help of professionals and experts like Deloitte and others. While the state governments have been engaging with non-technical and legal experts, they need to also start engaging with professional bodies of Government of India, like Indian Bureau of Mines and National Institute of Rock Mechanics. So best practices can be implemented for ease of doing business. Lot of quarries had stopped operations due to eco-sensitive issues pre-COVID, like Banerghatta National Park, Kaveri Wildlife, Elephant Corridor, Tiger Reserves, etc., which have received Government of India clearances, but are pending implementation at state level due to lockdown. All application for grant of lease, court orders, patta land issues, and NOCs received are kept pending by the department. We must work towards expediting using online facilities and recent technology for implementation of all these. Only then investments will take place and generate revenue to the state, rural employment, and income to the quarry owner. I would also like to flag the suggestions and recommendations made by the Honorable Minister, Government of Karnataka, Honorable Mines Minister, Government of Karnataka, to Honorable Chief Minister, Government of Karnataka, for 50 years extension of these and others. We should work towards getting these implemented. I know e-auction for ornamental stone is not feasible. We must work towards preventing it. EC clearances conditions for small quarry owners should be modified to be more favorable and practical. Utilization of quarry generated waste material for additional revenue by using it for M-sand and aggregates for road making also to be requested. Last but not the least, we should also work towards getting the GDC recommendation implemented by Government of India, which will give all of us a level playing
Hello,
field
what happened?
under one umbrella.
Okay, I'll
Industry
stop it.
status
Okay.
for quarrying is also pending.
I'm not visible, no?
In this difficult times, I would like to end on a positive note with a vision of united stone industry. As alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Thank you. We'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Keshav. Thank you.
Thank you, Keshav.
Yeah.
On time, you have finished your presentation.
Thank you so much.
Now I request Mr. Sudarshan Rao, Chairman State Chapter FIXI, and he is from Telangana. I request you to present your views, sir. Sudarshan Rao ji.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank you, the founder president Sri Veeramani ji, and president of FIXI Sri Ishwendra Singh ji, and general secretary, and the subcommittee chairman Sri Gurusastri ji for giving me the opportunity. And also we thank you very much for the CM Relief Fund and for the equipments which we are going to request for the remote sectors. And on this lockdown of natural stone business, with the announcement of sudden lockdown instructions by the government, the total Indian natural stone industry stopped all its operations, mining, quarrying, processing, polishing, marketing, and exports without taking any measures to survive or sustain. At least authorities should be informed by the recognized federations like
We speak in.
No problem.
and industry associations about the natural stone mining industry activities, which are equally important like any other manufacturing industries, which helps our country's economy in generating foreign exchange and local employment.
वीडियो आने के लिए बोलिए सर सुदर्शन को.
सुदर्शन वीडियो ऑन कर दीजिए. Sudarshan, please on the video.
Yeah, on it, sir.
Okay, now right.
Now it's okay.
Okay.
Yes.
All
Yeah,
the
now you're on.
workforces, both in-house and manpower from outside the business premises, were struck as is various condition. Though most of the natural stone mining and processing operations are generally in rural and isolated areas, away from human habitations, they were not allowed by local authorities to conduct their business activities. At least natural stone mining and quarrying processing industry is second to none in employment creation to the skilled, semi-skilled and unskilled population in rural India. Since COVID-19 did not have any severe impact on rural areas, restrictions on rural India should be relaxed and help the mining processing industry to survive and sustain the impact of COVID-19. Though relaxed guidelines and instructions from MHA were given to restart industries and mines, unfortunately, natural stone mining and industry was not taken into consideration by the authorities. State and local authorities should acknowledge the importance of the mining business activities, which generates revenue for livelihood of thousands and also revenues in the form of royalties, taxes, etc. Authorities should ensure uninterrupted operations. And natural stone mining and processing business activity in the country is not treated as an industry. Hence, it is not able to attract any COVID-19 reconstruction incentives. Natural stone and mining and processing activity should be recognized as a culture which is helping our country continue its stone tradition and heritage, keeping its own reputation and glory. Prolonged COVID-19 lockdown restrictions destroyed all the financial capabilities of the natural stone business entrepreneurs due to their limited capital sources and saved hand-to-mouth margins. Financial assistance for working capital, long-term loans, which low interest rates should be given to rebuild the industry and help the industry with long-term business promotion and tax incentives. COVID-19 lockdown and the unprecedented corona crisis across the globe destroyed several business opportunities of many business enterprises in the field of construction and infrastructure. Natural stone mining and processing industry should be given a special status in the industry spectrum and aggressively promote our country's natural stone in the global market, and also propagate our natural stone as the most predominant source of the world. Across the globe, COVID-19 pandemic will impact, certainly reduce the usage and consumption of imported goods and products. To overcome the impact, if royalties, all direct and indirect taxes, power tariffs should be reduced to help and cutting off our natural stone and stand strong as tough competitor in global market with best pricing. Also, if we also tried from FabGen, given the representations, to identify our granite mining should be treated as an industry, but as of now nothing has been got it. And after this buyers expect the further to that, most of the time buyers expect test certificates of natural stone to ascertain suitability of the stone for a particular climate. But a majority of the cases, the quarry owners did not have their product tested because they don't know that is very basic document required to sell their product in international market. The reason may be because we do not have natural stone testing facilities established by the government or any association, except in any of the granite processing states in South India. CDOS is the only testing facility in Rajasthan, which is far off for southern states. The private testing laboratories expect exorbitant testing costs, months together testing time, requiring test samples of different thickness and sizes, which again difficult to cut and submit because we are not equipped. Hence, we have immediate need to establish a testing laboratory to give free or nominal cost testing facility to all the natural stone produced in each state, to establish database for the buyers to choose stone based on their application and needs.
Sudarshan, sorry to interfere. You please go a little back and speak.
Okay, sir.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay, at this juncture, FICCI is vested with a greater responsibility in bridging the gaps, either by itself by influencing the decision makers in the country on pitfalls to be addressed if we have to capture China's loss to India's favor. For this, we require maintain a stone quality database by establishing stone testing laboratories in all natural stone producing states with simplified sample submission protocols. Establish training programs to the entrepreneurs of all stone producing clusters to make them understand how the stone is being utilized or what the market is expecting. The bridge gap between global market requirements and our quarrying, processing and machinery fraternity to produce low-cost industry-friendly machinery as China. To establish a B2B platform for the members of Stone Fraternity integrating with international natural stone trade partners. Establish supplier rating system for a new as well as establish fair in the field for trade to happen with confidence. If we address the above issues, heaps of unsold waste dumps lying at every granite quarry site.
Sorry to interfere, Sudarshan. 2 minutes left.
Yeah, site will get consumed by converting them into many high value stone added value products which the world is utilizing. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sudarshan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Even viewers can post their questions. Now I request.
They can answer the questions.
Yeah. Viewers can post their questions and the speakers will answer at the end. Now I request Dr. Harpal Singh Yadavji, Joint Secretary FICCI, to present your views.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Sir, can you listen me?
Sure.
Hello.
Sure, we can hear you.
Yes, sir. Respected my chairman, Viramani sir, president sir, and Mathur sahab, and all 60 members. Sir, today I got chance to discuss with you about natural mining stone scenario post COVID-19 with a special performance reference to Gujarat. Sir, as we all know, this industry was already passing through recession. Still, entrepreneurs were managing somehow, but now after this epidemic, it has taken very bad shape. No one knows how to start, from where to start. About Gujarat, hardly 120-125 granite quarries were in existence, but 30-40 were in operation before 6 months to March, before closing all the quarries. I mean, before this epidemic. Now it is assumed hardly 8-ton quarries can be started in coming 1, 2, or 3 months, depend on condition, because no demand in coming days from factory side. We are asking regularly from factory people about their orders, about their demand in future, probable demand, exact demand, but no one is giving exact data. Product is coming in few days, I don't know. So obviously quarry owners are afraid to restart. Government has given permission to all 10-12 quarries, but hardly one quarry could be started so far. So I wanted to say, we are passing through very bad time. I mean, quarry people are passing through bad time, and factory people are passing through worst time. We have very limited varieties of colors. Already 3-4 varieties can be exported. Others are local. Local, we don't have, you can say, expect any order. No domestic projects are supposed to start in coming 2-3 months. And there are limited colors which can move in export market, especially in Gujarat. Hardly we have 2 or 3 colors. So everyone will depend on them. As a result, very limited quarries will be in good demand and others will remain closed. Even after getting the permission from the government, we are not able to start. There are dual statements from the government, from the local authorities. Sometimes people say start. Police authorities stopping vehicle, private vehicle, public vehicle, all in dual. We are expecting today or tomorrow some new guideline for next lockdown. Then only we can think. Recently, government has given 20 lakhs crore package to boost MSME and other business. But I doubt that our industry can be uplifted by this policy. At this time, our main problem is of production and sale of blocks and slabs in market. To achieve this goal, we need extra money for long-term credit and to hold the produced material at quarry as well as in factories. While there is no clear provision in this package for such things, industries which are passing through uncertain problems, current scene of our business. Only or myself also. Hello. Current scene of our business is like a patient lying in ICU, while government is planning for Ayurvedic or homeopathic treatment, that too after a long complex process. Through banks, everyone is capable to take loan from bank. We know the style of working of banks. Even we were getting loans before.
Sorry to interfere, 2 minutes left.
Okay, sir. So need to give a strong representation to review the scheme for our industry by demanding a clear-cut policy which increase immediate liquidity of funds in the market. By that only sentiments of our business can be positive. This long-term policy is of no use. Immediate steps like extension of 6 or 12 EMIs, wave of interest on EMIs can help quarry and factory people, which will generate extra money in the market and will give positive sentiments to business person. Apart from financial things, many more mining rules which are in existence, like policies of different stages at government side, all necessary permissions such as approved mining plan, EC required for mining, should be extended for further 5 years. Mining plan submitted for approval to CGM, IBM should be considered as deemed approved for starting mining operations. Simplify the procedure of EC in place of physical public hearing. Public consultation process can be followed by EC, in which public suggestions can be invited by general notice or can be given conditionally. Explosive license should be extended for the further 5 years or so. Royalty and other levies should be reduced, maybe 50%, 30% or 40%. Tax over tax like GST over royalty shall be abolished. Lockdown period shall be added in lease period, and accordingly lease tenure should be extended. Pending lease cases of LOI or PL should be considered immediately according to MMCR and MMDR and should be covered in query lease or mining lease to be granted by giving EC where EC proposal is under process. Government targeted to contribute 2% growth in GDP from mining, which cannot be achieved by existing policies. For this, aggressive steps has to be taken, and those too on time. Sir, I can suggest only these things in 10 minutes time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yadavji. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Arpanji.
Now I request Dr. C.H. Rao, General Secretary of FABT, will present the post-COVID situation in the state of AP and Telangana with regard to quarrying sector and government policies. Welcome, Rao.
Yeah. Can you see my screen, PPT screen?
No, not yet.
Yes,
You can
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Carry on.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'll go through my PPT now. See, 2020 is a complete washout. We are in the race to survival. How the flat worlds are interconnected is shown by the explosion of this pandemic, reaching 190 countries in a matter of just 2 months. Similarly, our businesses are severely interconnected. There is a low demand, low purchasing power on one side.
Mr. Rao,
You survive by only selling.
Mr. Rao, share the screen.
I am sharing it now.
Push out a bit. Push out a bit behind. Push a bit.
Share
One
screen.
Okay.
You are okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now I can see. You
Okay,
can see.
okay.
Open the PPT.
Open the
Please open
PPT.
it.
Okay. Yeah.
நாம open
Can you see now?
PPT is open.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
2020 is completely washed out. Our businesses are interconnected. There's a low demand, low purchasing power on one side. We cannot survive by only selling domestic markets. In today's webinar, I will touch upon few essential subjects we need to focus on, not only to survive, but to use this opportunity to better ourselves, compete ourselves in locally and globally. Though it sounds cliche, we need to think out of box. The biggest challenge the virus gave us today is to rewind, reassess, revalidate, recharge, and replan our businesses practices and all the shortcomings. And in the meantime, it is a time to desist from some of our selfish and petty businesses practices. The key points are mining policy changes and requirements by the government, various stone associations, initiatives and measures that are needed to be taken, and global marketing scenario outlook, more especially China, and then online presence. The key gaps are these. We have enough understanding about the gaps that exist in the stone industry, whether it is a policy gap, or supply demand gap, or ethical gaps. We have a host of issues. But the mute question is, are we responding sufficiently? See, this is a virus has spread worldwide despite containment efforts. Look at the kind of spread. See, COVID started in China. Now it is in many countries. G7 represents about 47% of the GDP, and G7 represents 66% of the COVID. Japan, can you see this?
Yes, go ahead.
And so there are scenery 1, scenery 2, scenery 3. There could be a like E, U, and L. I'll skip it. And the supply side depends upon the MSME growth, mining investments, policies, support from financial institutions. And then supply side, sectoral contribution, government spending, exports, distribution trade, manufacturing, and then raw material costs, availabilities. I'll skip all these slides. I'll get into demand side. Domestic market demand side depends upon the real estate sector, building and construction sector, and exports to USA, China, and Europe. And let us see the market size in trillions. That was pre-COVID situation. American size is $2 trillion. Europe is about $2.8 trillion. Asia Pacific is about $5 trillion. And Middle East and Asia is about $0.48 trillion. Look at the global construction 2030 projections are by PwC about $15.5 trillion. Look at the global contribution market of $8 trillion by 2030. Okay, look at the apparent consumption by the USA. Dimension Stone, about 9,600 companies are there, 85,000 employees in USA, 3,153 million annual payrolls. Okay, total consumption is about $30 billion USA. Okay, and the Indian share of exports are about 16% of USA. We do about 16%. Look at the global map, okay, with reference to various places where India stands, okay, in terms of the valuation. I'll share these presentations to everybody. Look at the India here in terms of granite and marble. The green represents the granite, the red represents the marble. In terms of dollar value, this is December 2019 data. Look at the demand side, current and potential impacts on construction. Okay, I'll just jump all this because it's huge amount of data I have collected recently. Look at this, among the COVID-19 infected countries, China is the largest import source for India. It constitutes about 13.7% of all the commodities. From India, China takes about 13.7%. Look at the US countertop demand in surface materials. You got laminates, granite, marble, natural stone, engineering stone, all that. See, the granite constitutes about 161. And look at the marble. So now look at the impact. The crisis is a story of uncertain ending. We don't know what will happen. It's clear that COVID has introduced new challenges to the business environment. We need to realize that it's likely to have a new normal in everything, aware of and preparing for all these shifts now. And it will reduce China's natural stone imports and will have impact on worldwide. Sale of raw blocks to China will decrease, but that is the only reinforcement trend that has been observed for some time. So what are the policies we are seeing? No issuance of leases, pending lease renewals, abrupt closure of quarries, high royalties per CBM, lack of time-bound clearances, lack of ease of transfer of leases, mining plan issues, recovery panchayat issues. They're all there. We know all these issues. Similarly, MOF, we have many issues, infrastructure issues. We don't have skill development councils. We don't have skill.
Rao, sorry to interfere. 2 minutes left. 2 minutes.
I need 4 minutes. I need 4 minutes. 6 to 7. Look at MSME.
Good.
And so reforms are in every aspect we need now or never. It's a time for boldest and bravest changes in both central and state governments. It's a time for reforms. In labor reforms in UP, MP, Gujarat have brought in radical labor reforms have been happening. COVID-19 period is an opportunity to eliminate red tape, inspection raj, and all that antiquated labor reforms, valid licenses for life for the project and with no annual renewals. Sizes of the quarry, okay, I'll skip this. So let us see the relationship between the quarries and factories. Associations must work towards ironing the differences, reducing the supply gaps, price issues, illegal sales into local factories. Every new factory, I say this, should take a clearance from the mine owner clusters and their associations before setting up the factory, unless it is for captive use, because the raw material supply demand depends on the mines. The entry barriers for setting up a factory are very low, whether it's very difficult for getting a factory. Okay, and let us see the quarry factory gap. The failure rates of quarries are exceptionally high. There has to be standard operation procedures, SOPs, laid down at every customer levels, district level industries. How to conduct businesses ethically, how to conduct businesses without cross-cutting the prices, without interspecific competitions. All the stakeholders should sit for a well thought out sale price mechanism among the producers. A baseline, a matrix of sale prices, depending on sizes and qualities, need to be arrived. It's at high time now. Business ethics must play a vital role in the industry. FIGSI and every association should come forward to create SOPs for ethical business practices. Everyone should sell ethically. The global order today, when there is a talk of TV, environmental designated design business, we all know illegal businesses are ruining the industry. Hundreds and crores of scams, trading scams, mining scams, black market scams, ultimately the industry is fully infested with deceit, evasion, and illicit practices. The lumpen elements, the unscrupulous, the fraudsters are unfortunately setting the media narrative of the industry. Many of the clean businesses are mute spectators to this whole thing. So we may blame government, high taxation, high cost, high low returns. But the time, we need to set the housing order, the constant struggle. We need to work on this. Globally, how many of the Indian companies have spoiled the name of the country is known to everyone. It's time to stop one. It's time to change. Exports, very important point. Some of the granite varieties are alive in the market only because Chinese markets are there from early 2000. Some of the clusters like Galaxy, Tanbone, Maple Red, Steel Grey, they are surviving only because of China. One Chinese domestic market is strong. Look at its size. They consume $60 billion. So, irrespective of the global geopolitical isolationist agenda, India should depend on China. India should sell to China. Don't leave China. Without China, we cannot survive. Okay. And final conclusion. Final conclusions. We are a granite community, fraternity, has risen up to the challenges of the industry. No, all the individuals, associations, district level, state level, national level should have discussed the possible outcomes out of this pandemic, discuss issues in detail, threadbare, whether it would be a pragmatic policy response to fiscal, monetary, or policy response from government. So, having a dialogue with the governments, take example labor. We have failed collectively in stopping the labor going to their homes. The time has come for all of us to collectively collaborate and work on this. Okay. And
go ahead.
Time that we stakeholders. I'm finishing, sir. Last slide. Who will survive? The best will survive. The best among the similar materials will survive. The best among the who will adapt survive. The best who will find a specific niche in the market will survive. The best who stimulates will survive. The best extending the credit to the customer will survive. Okay. Thank you very much for this. These are the various differences. I'll share this presentation to everybody. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. Thank you very much. You continue, Rao. Another 2 minutes, you continue.
No, yes. Finished. He has finished.
Okay. I jumped many.
Okay.
Because
thank you very much, Rao. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತೀರಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತೀರಾ ಇವರು ಪ್ರಸಾದ್ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬಂದ ಪ್ರಸಾದ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್
ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬರ್ತೀರಾ
ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ
One minute. Let him continue.
Questions I will write it now. This is a summary of the speakers.
Okay.
Guru, go ahead.
Yeah, just some technical 1 minute technical problem.
Screen share.
Screen
PPT ಇದೆ
ಇಲ್ಲ Now I request Sri Krishna Prasad our General Secretary, Chairman of Quarrying Development Committee, will give the entire picture of the quarrying sector in the country. FICCI participation in various sectors of the government in resolving the granite related issues apart from addressing the key issues related to Karnataka. Krishna Prasad, please welcome.
Question answers. I'll question.
I request the viewers to post the questions.
Good morning, everybody. I think we had a wonderful session so far. So many views and so many fantastic views. Right from Mr. Akshadip Mathur to Dr. C.H. Rao. Of course, you have covered all the subjects. I'd like to just summarize some of the thoughts that have already been mentioned today. I think it's a very fantastic idea that all the mining leases be extended by 20 years, which Akshadip Mathur Sahab has just mentioned. The mineral zone, which we have been demanding from the government of India at the GDC level, the mines ministry, everywhere, that needs to be done now. I think it's already very late. Then simpler EC compliances. We all know that there are more than 60, 70 conditions that are laid down in EC while giving the EC environment clearance. So those need to be totally revamped, and that has to be reframed for the natural stone sector. What we are now facing is the ones that have been framed for the major minerals. There are about 70 conditions. Not even one can be fulfilled. We all know that. And it will become a violation. Even a small condition that you don't fulfill will become a violation. And we will be liable for so many other legal actions with that. So I think that needs to be done very fast. And then recently I was just seeing some questions being raised regarding the migrant laborers and the working of the factories and all that. I think migrant labor issue is not only for granite industry. It's for it's cutting across all the sectors. So I think that today or tomorrow they will again come back, and I'm sure it's a temporary phase. I'm very sure that that will be resolved very soon. Then there is the issue of transportation of material to the port, and I was just saying Shiva Subramaniam has just mentioned that there is an issue of transportation of blocks. I think once again that is a matter of government, and I'm sure that after 18 there must be furthermore relaxations, and I'm very sure that the Prime Minister's announcement the other day, we know that the focus is now on economic development more than the COVID, resolving the COVID issues. So I think sooner or later we will have the transportation of blocks. The entire economic activity will be restored, and we're very hopeful that all these things will be done. Some of the important issues which has been plaguing the granite mining sector, particularly in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, is the issue of quarrying leases in the revenue areas. For more than 10-15 years, neither Tamil Nadu nor in Karnataka there has been any quarries being given. Karnataka, in fact, has come down to hardly 200 quarries being worked today. So I think this issue we have already taken up with the government. We have the minister, and the Karnataka minister is very much in the know of it, and we are very sure that this problem should be resolved sooner than later. In fact, the other day when we were at the CM, while handing over the check, the minister has brought a note and he has given it to him. He says that all the leases which have expired, they have to be extended by. They have earlier made it 30 years. Now they have requested for to be extended to 50 years. Everybody saw. This recommendation has gone from minister to the chief minister, and he has asked for a special meeting with the chief minister. And I'm very sure that will be accepted. And I just saw a message from one of the ex-directors in Andhra Pradesh saying that the 2015 amendment to the MMDR has already recommended 50 years lease for all leases. I think that would again be very helpful to, particularly to Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So I hope that that issue will be solved. Like already some of the speakers have mentioned, the auction system will never work for granite and marble sector. This has to be removed, and I think we have to bring in more pressure at the GDC level and with the Ministry of Mines in Delhi, the Government of India, so that the thought of auctioning the granite and natural stone quarries should be removed from the mind of the Mines Ministry. They should, write to the states asking them to go for first come first serve, which has been the system earlier and which is the system followed all over the world. So I think that has to be done. In the recovery percentages, we all know that it started in Tamil Nadu. Today it's become a problem everywhere, whether it's in Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh. The government is now insisting us that in the mining plants, we have to show a minimum percentage of 30%. In Karnataka and Andhra has gone a step ahead. And they are saying that every year you have to increase the percentage. From the first year 20%, second year 30%, and fourth year 40%. So these kind of impractical and this thing that they are trying to impose on the mining sector will never work. And ultimately they will blame us. They're not able to understand that the recovery percentages all over the world is not more than 5 to 20%. Those are the maximums. In spite of this, state governments are going on, insisting on impractical things. This has to be tackled. I'm sure that with the reconstitution of the GDC, all these issues will be taken up by FICSI very soon. We should have done it by now. In the last 2-3 months, things got really stalled. So I'm very sure that soon after Delhi opens, we'll be there and we'll see that GDC is reconstituted. We'll have a meeting of the GDC very soon and we will tackle all these issues sooner than later. Then the royalty rates also we already put up with the GDC, so that needs to be discussed also. We all know that globally it's 3%, 2 to 3%, whereas in our country, Karnataka state has about 15%. Other Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu also have very heavy royalties. Only Rajasthan and Gujarat have really sensible and I should say nominal rates of royalties, which are helpful to the industry, and that's why the industry is growing in Rajasthan. See the number of mines working in Rajasthan, 4,000 to 5,000 granite quarries alone are working, whereas in Karnataka we have 200. I think in Andhra Pradesh there are about 2,000 to 3,000 quarries working. So this shows the huge difference. With the support of the state governments in policies, where we could reach is what Rajasthan has set an example, and all the other states need to follow this example. We have been emphasizing this with the other states also. I'm sure that this will be taken up. Then I've been talking about the dumping of waste. These also issues have already been taken up with the GDC, and the subcommittee report also has tackled this issue. I'm very sure all the quarrying people understand this. Granite and marble quarries are so small in areas that we cannot dump our waste within the quarry lease area. We have to have separate areas earmarked for that, and the subcommittee report has already recommended that we could dump the waste at least 3 kilometer radius. A separate area can be earmarked, and we can dump the waste in those areas. That needs to be done. I'm sure that a standard operation manual for quarrying is a good idea, which Mr. Mahesh has come up with. Then migration of labor, I've just touched it. Digitalization of marketing skills, granite manual, digital information. These are all very good ideas. And then Keshav Murthy has touched on the migrant laborers to be brought from green zone, should not be quarantined and all that. I think this will all happen. Government is also open to all these things. Interstate and interstate transport permits should be also made possible. Professional bodies has to taken up the confidence with the state government. Waste management is order of the day. That's it. Sudarshan Rao has mentioned about the state and local authorities should acknowledge the importance of the mining activities. We all know that we are contributing huge amount to the DMF. This fund is being misused. Who is using this fund for the development of the areas which have been affected by mining? This was the main purpose. The deputy commissioner along with the local politicians, they are using this fund for every other purpose rather than what it is supposed to be used for. I think here we are getting a bad name. They say that miners are spoiling the entire area. The environment is being spoiled. Therefore, this DMF has been set up to make good all these losses. But nobody is taking, this is not being utilized at all. I think hundreds, thousands of crores have been accumulated in every district, but where it's not being utilized properly. I think some other issues are there, which I'll leave it to Mr. Veermani Saab to conclude and give his expert opinion. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I thank one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna Prasad, for the detailed. Now I request Sri R. Veermani ji, who doesn't need any introduction. He is a past president Capexil. He is the founder president of FIXI and chairman of GEM Group of Companies. He has also held various positions in national and international organizations related to the stone industry. He is having the vast knowledge of granite quarrying and processing industry, and now he will present his expert opinion on the position of the granite industry in the COVID 2019. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President Yashwendra Singh and our dear friends. It is my pleasure to be with you today. And you know, the industry, the stone industry, the quarrying and the processing, the export is to my heart and to my mind all the time in my life. And one important point I want to caution. You see there are 5,000 quarries or 200 quarries, this quarries and all that. Please quantify the areas. They will think as a huge ones. It will not be equivalent to one major mineral area. That's the point. Every country, be it in Spain or Italy or in Brazil or Scandinavian countries like Norway, Finland and Sweden, they all give square kilometers. But whereas we are here working on few acres, not even few hectares. So with these conditions, saying that we are working in so many quarries will not work. We need to compare the global policies. So my request, I'll come to the comments in the final stages, but I would give a kind of idea how we should do. One, please prepare what is the mining, granite mining or quarrying, how we are doing it, even marble, sandstone, slate, quartzite, everything. You please go ahead with a documentary. Please prepare a documentary for about half an hour and even for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, so that we can present to the Prime Minister, the Mines Minister, the Commerce Minister, and also our Finance Minister, everybody, what is this industry? You must show, and what kind of machine. For example, which are the mineral-based industries that are using the machines that we are using in our quarries? A derrick, for example, a wire cutting machine, and a kind of huge excavator. Which are the kind of things they are working? And our waste is so much inevitable because the recovery is only between 3 to 15%. Because originally we thought 5 to 10%. But now you please think over this. In countries like Brazil, they are working on a quarry that is about 1,500 meters high. It's a monolithic single huge rock that they are working. And so also in the USA, so also in other South American countries, so also in South Africa. Mr. Kesavamurthy, Mr. Prasad, you had been to the African countries, and you please tell how big are those areas, what is the size of our areas? Please, I will listen. Mr. Kesavamurthy, what is the size of the quarries that you saw there?
We visited quarries in Zimbabwe. We visited quarries in Namibia. We visited quarries in Tanzania.
Fine, sir, the area.
Now, as far as the areas are concerned, the minimum area is about 10 to 25 hectares, because in black people like RED and Dorking and Laventina, all these people are operating. Chinese are operating. But in Tanzania, I should mention, the quarry size are very small, 1 or 2 acres or 3 acres. 1 or 2 Indians were operating in black.
That is all. That is quartzite.
No, no. Okay, okay. And some Chinese were operating in a big area where they were having the processing unit also in the quarry site, finishing the material.
So anyhow, the point is this: we are working on 1/2 acre, 1 acre, when less than 1 hectare. We are working on where to keep the finished blocks, where to keep the machines, where to keep the inspection materials, and where to keep the waste. So practically they should study that we should get the larger area, and there should be 2 areas: one, working areas, that is mining area, and keep the stock keeping area for inspection, and even for the geology department people to come and check the material, and for buyers to check the materials and load it. Therefore, we need 3 places: one, mining area; the second, dumping area of waste; the 3, keeping of blocks. It should be separate. And the area that we are keeping for mining and the area for dumping waste and also the produced material, that should be separated by showing in the map itself. That should be the first fundamental requirement. Then the second one, royalty in dead rent. Which country is having this kind of very unbearable cost of materials that we are paying to the government? The royalty is very high. Is there any country that is collecting the district mineral development fund? Why are they collecting? The very fact of royalty collecting includes everything. It's exhaustive. That is how every country is doing. In fact, in the USA and other countries, Japan, and also in France, private lands, the government doesn't collect any royalty or anything. Only in the government land, a very nominal royalty is collected. Therefore, we should fundamentally change it. First of all, prepare a documentary to show what is the industry and the mission, the investment, the risk factors, and how we are working. And even with the pandemic of coronavirus or not, we are a very safe working environment, and we are very strongly taking care of the protection. And every quarry is having the mask and all that for a long time since, helmets and all that. We are working, and we are working diamond wire. With diamond wire and water, where is the dust? And many machines, hydraulic machines, there is a dust collector separately. And therefore, there is nothing hazardous that is going out of the quarry. Therefore, it will not affect during pandemic or post-pandemic forever. This is the second point. Then 3, the most important point. I have been given an award for mining and marketing of the Indian stone. Not from a company, it is given to me by the Government of India on the 50th year of independence. Therefore, whenever they consider some policy changes, I should be invited even as an individual, since they have given me an award. And how every color, every material happened to be developed in this country. And there are 2 things. All other minerals, you see the difference between others and us. The minerals are all having a fixed formula. Fe2O3, and also barium sulfate and varieties, barium sulfate, everything is fixed. But we don't have a fixed policy or a chemical formula or a molecular formula. There are 1,500 varieties of stones all over the world. Call it charnakite, call it chondrolite, or when you call it diorite, dolerite, or anything. Everything is called as deemed provision. That's all. It's a decorative stone. First of all, the government asking that we should produce, every year so much, and 3 years, whether you work it or not, if you don't quarry and export or sell it, your lease can be cancelled. What is this all? It's a fashion. There are materials that have no mere fashion for about 1 minute, sir. That's my earphone has dropped. See, there are certain materials, quarries, which once were in demand, are not in demand anymore nowadays. And also, the architects don't choose the material all the time. They want to choose a different material. And therefore, we can't be compelled to say that we should work continuously. That is one. Second, the dead rents and all that, and the advanced dead rents, huge dead rents, blocking, and transfer of lease. A huge amount is being asked by 3 times the dead rent. It's all very, what would I say, killing the industry, I would say that. Therefore, we should see that. And friends, I must take you and show you a little bit.
Sir, another 5 minutes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm going to finish it, sir. Sir, you give me about 7 minutes. See, we have this first SONA recommendations. You know, SONA 87, our recommendations are there. And whatever you have been talking, we have talked and documented this in the same thing. I request the President and the Secretary, General Secretary, Mr. Prasad, to prepare the copies and circulate it again and make it public. And then again, I have written the first write-up about the stone industry in 1987 for SONA. That gives the complete details of the 50 years of what they have been doing from 1938 to 1987. Second, then, and I also, made the Extreme Focus Committee report where we have given everything about the recovery and what we should do for the stone industry. Right, sir? Now, the problem, a person takes a sample and promotes it, and he makes various finishes and sends it all over the world, spending several lakhs of rupees. Sometimes even crores of rupees are required to promote a material. Participating in a fair is not cheaper. Therefore, you can't compare this industry with others, as our investment on promoting also is huge. Therefore, a person once started a quarry, he should continue to be given irrespective of the year. So long as the mineral is there, the person who wants should be given. The person who started should be given. And especially, I like Mr. Mathur, statement, and I like whatever he said, the mineral zone and all that, whatever he said, and all leases need to be extended automatically for 20 years, and the mineral policy of 2019, economic zone, and all this 50 acres, 50 hectares should be without easy clearance and all that should be automatically by a return. We should do it. All is a wonderful, sir. And another point, when a mining plan is given, if you say that the small quantity, whatever is possible or quantity, if you produce more, that's an offense. If you don't produce, that is deemed to be an offense by some other state government. What is this, sir? How can it be? Nobody can predict how the stone will come from the underground. Therefore, you can't say that. And complaints report only, as Mr. Mathur said, is wonderful. And so also, everybody said, I don't want to narrate everything. And just like KGF, and we are talking, inviting foreign investment in mining sector. How much of foreign money has come so far? Why foreigners have not come and invested in India? And I know Dr. Vasudev, a scientist who is specialist in gold, and he has been invited by many countries. In fact, he is representing a very big company in Australia, geologist from Bangalore. He has been employed to survey gold and apply and get it. Still, it is an application stage itself. So our countries, when mineral wealth is buried from 2% of the GDP, how are we going to increase it to 8% of the GDP from the mining sector? It can be done only by production, not by auctioning everything. See, somebody immediately says, some official says, we have to amend and the captive mine system should be done away with. What is this? You have been asking us to set up a factory, value add it, technology add it, brand it, market it globally. We have done all. Then you don't want to give this. How is it? Why? So therefore, I appreciate that. And again, as Mr. Mahesh said it, there need to be a mining manual. We need to prepare a book. And Dr. Yadav knows also, he was our manager, and he knows, he says only about 2-3 materials are in demand from Gujarat. And why? You know very well, Mr. Yadav, that you have been 7 years working with our company then, and you have been attending many exhibitions. Why we could not market it? If there are similar materials at cheaper price, we can't market it. Therefore, it's a cooling effort to market it. And Dr. Rao said there is no demand for materials in foreign countries. It is true that the demand has come down because, if somebody is seeing the same stone, same shape, and same design, how long they will do it? We need to all the time explore and introduce new materials. But the policies are not conducive for us to find out new materials. Whereas now in Madurai, they stopped all the quarries. 8 years have passed, we are going to be in the 9th year. And meanwhile, Brazil has taken advantage. Many other countries have taken advantage, and artificial stones have come, and ceramic stones have come. Quartz surface is there. They have taken a substantial market area. I mean, why we are not telling it? Please let us say that. And when the market is there, we should do that. And employment, large employment we are giving, the royalty huge amount we are paying. And I want to request one of you, every one of you, to understand it. In the sugar factory, we have a sugar factory, therefore we know something. They are collecting a small cess. Out of the sugar cess, they call it Sugar Development Fund. The Sugar Development Fund is lending money at 4%. Therefore, we should ask the government, since we are paying so much of royalty and all that, please give us special funding on the Mineral Upgradation Fund for granite and natural stone upgradation fund for 4% interest. That is to be required. Then, last point. Sir, we have to thank the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister and other officials and other ministers of Commerce Minister, Mining Minister, everybody. But one unfortunate point is, I don't know why and how it happened by oversight, or the announcements may come later. The exports have not been categorized so far for any eligibility so far. I don't know why. Then second point, mining itself is given up. And mining is a big area. We are working in the remote areas without any infrastructure. We are not working in air-conditioned rooms. We are working sky above and below with rain and all that, and satisfying the villagers and all that. We also developed the local areas. Therefore, please, all the people who have spoken, all the veterans here, wonderfully spoken. I can't say. Mr. Sudarshan Rao also has made wonderful points, and everybody, Mr. Yadav has spoken very well. I have written everybody's whatever they talked, and Mr. Rao has given very, very nicely. Mr. Mahesh has given very well, and of course, our Prasad has given completely this thing, and our President has talked very well. Everybody has talked. Please forgive me if I left any name. And wonderfully you have done, sir. And again, a quarry started by anybody should be given to them. That is one. And if he has a factory or anything, he should be given first priority. I mean, then a person who has marketed a material should not be taken, shouldn't be taken away from him. And therefore, I hope Mr. Kasumurthy, as he said, the Karnataka government should take the cue and come back again. For originally, it was Tamil Nadu number one. Then the Tamil Nadu interference was there. Karnataka became the second best policy. And Karnataka started not giving with the right policy. Then Andhra consistently for the last 40 years was having a very good policy. Now, of course, Telangana also has got it. And also Orissa was good. And I mean, I personally am present in every almost state. Therefore, I congratulate every state government. And I am also the founder trustee of the Stone Mart in Jaipur. Therefore, I know that. And therefore, let us hope the industry be helped by the government, both central and state, in every way. And there should not be any kind of criminal actions or anything about the stone industry or anything connected with that. And the Supreme Court also need to review the policies and all that. And no violation need to be small lapses and all that need to be thought as a great violation. And let us do one thing, sir. Let us measure the oxygen content, the atmosphere content of the quarry area before we start and after we start. Also the groundwater, let us check and give a scientific data to the government. Because I have instituted National Environmental Award in 1991. It is going to be 30 years next year. Therefore, we must say that we are the one who have instituted. Don't mention my name. Mention at least that the stone industry only, the stone industry only introduced National Environmental Award 30 years before when there were no rules. Please say that. And for example, we are doing such a big projects all over the world. We are doing huge projects. Spending time and money and go and negotiate and discuss with every architect is not ready market. And therefore, unlike other products, and this stone, once you supply for a monument, for a cemetery, or for a national monument, or for a big project, building project, or an airport, it remains there at least for 50 years, it remains unchanged. Proclaim India, India, and the brand name of Indian stone. And therefore, this industry needs to be supported by the government and the state government. We need to give a correct picture and we need to catalog everything. And whenever you submit anything, please give me a copy and we have a capacity. I will take up in my own way the GDCR also, I personally negotiated, discussed with the then Prime Minister, and they agreed for national policy. That is also one of our requests from the first report, that the recommendations we made in our STONA 87. It is included there for one policy for the state government for all over India. And so also the royalties also need to be the same, all over the thing. And again, the auction system cannot work. And I am a victim of this auction system. In Madurai, I invested about 6 crores for the auction, and none of the quarries are working. In 2 quarries, we lost huge amount. And for 22 years, another area, the government is not interested to me. They are not interested. They are not returning the money. So if you calculate the way that the government is calculating against us, when they want to claim 25% interest and all that, I need to receive about 30 crores from the government. So this is the pathetic situation. And when they auction it, they don't bother about the road. They don't bother about, the neighboring farming or anything. They give it. That is what you yourself. Therefore, where is the kind of your prospecting? Where is the prospecting data and all that? Therefore, friends, let us hope that with all the difficulties, we can't avoid China. We can't avoid any other country. We can't avoid Italy. We can't avoid USA. All these countries are needed. And please don't undercut the prices. And for example, the brown materials of Andhra and Telangana, where are the similar materials? Like our galaxy, where is the material in the world? And some of the unique materials, why should we reduce the prices? Please check it up. Let us all sit together and maintain a decent price, just like a foreign country, and make the industry to work for the second, third generation to come in and step in and continue it with pride, just like foreign countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now there are 2 questions from Maheshan.
Yes, sir.
To lift ban on Madurai district and grant of new leases, renew of earlier leases. I request Mr. Krishna Prasad to answer.
Please.
Yes, sir.
His mic is.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So as you're all aware, we have already filed our this thing in the Madras High Court, and so this case is still on. I'm very sure, of course, the legal it has to come from the High Court itself ultimately. But FICCI is with you definitely in whatever the support and this thing needed. So FICCI will always be with you for until the Madurai this thing is resolved. Thank you.
Thank you, Prasad. And the second question is procedure adopted in Rajasthan in grant of leases. I request Mathurji to reply for this. Answer. Mathurji, you are there?
Is he available?
Rakshadip Mathur, you are there?
You have to unmute him. You have to unmute him.
Yes.
Not there.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Right. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, Mathur sir.
Yeah. So Rajasthan right now the auction policy is going on, but the auction is one-time payment, not as per the market value. So when there is an auction, you bid for like purchasing that lease, and then you can pay in 5 installments. Secondly, if the mineral wealth is lying in the khatedari land or ownership land, then one can apply directly and take a mining lease. These are 2 processes which are going on. We are trying for first come, first serve now.
Question answer.
Thank you, Mathurji.
Thank you.
Now there is another question, relaxation for export and interstate transportation. I think this is already discussed and Mr. Prasad has told about this.
Yes.
Can I add something to this, Mr. Krishna?
Yeah.
Yes.
In parallel, there was a video conference done by FICCI with the Honorable Industry Minister, Mr. Jagdish Shettar. of Government of Karnataka, with Gaurav Gupta, Principal Secretary Industries, and Maheshwar Rao, Principal Secretary Industries.
Yeah.
Most of the questions from all the other industries was about this interstate transport and all this kind of questions, which I think Karnataka government is at the lead in all these things, and they, in a couple of days, they are addressing all these issues. So even the migrant laborers, as we are all talking about, even that issue was a very big issue which was being discussed. So Honorable Industry Minister, Government of Karnataka assured everybody that everything will be in place. This is the information I just wanted to share. Thank you.
Sir, can I say something? One point.
Yeah.
Mr.
We can't say no to you, sir.
Pardon?
We can't say no to you.
No. I'm not trying to say we all get together and we are all, wired or wireless, we are Wi-Fi, we are connected. Therefore, we should share what is going on.
Yes, sir.
The point is, any policy on granite, whether state government or central government, that they need to consider the global picture of the various countries who are competing in the market. There are about 80 countries in granite competing with us. Therefore, please, the government, state governments or central government need to consider the global policy. For example, which country is auctioning the coal mines like we did it? And it's a total failure. And they're not able to produce it. Still import coal is coming to this country. And therefore, you say globalized policy. Globalized, okay. Then you say global policy, then level playing field, then there need to be competitive level playing field. Our stone industry is just about 50 years only. Though there were some monuments going, and there are countries who have celebrated 100 years, 150 years. And therefore, we are a very, very infant industry. And our policy itself, whatever we asked in 1987, Sona, still remains unresolved. And therefore, as I said, please, let us say the request 1, 2, 3 from when? In 90 Sona, 87, Sona, and 91, and everything we have, till now we are requesting. And the Extreme Focus Committee, we are requesting. Nothing is we have got. This industry is doing, and then we have to go and buy the farming land, and again buy for roads and all that, and manage. Therefore, we should get some relief from the state government, central government, and also a liberalized policy to help us to survive and grow. Okay?
Can I take 1 minute? Can I take 1 minute?
Please, sir.
Sir, look at this. I just want to share one important point, sir. See,
yes, sir.
With regard to the pit measurements, can you see the slide now?
Volumetric analysis for simplification.
So the very idea of deduction of, without considering the complex interplay of geological, mineralogical, structural, textural, most importantly, aesthetic aspects of the stone into a mere volumetric equation is overzealous exercise and a matter of sheer oversimplification. That is happening in Andhra, in Chemakurti. If you see, sir.
Sorry, sir, it has already happened in Madurai.
No, one more thing, sir. See, look at the quarry in one Chemakurti. That is having 3% recovery percentage shown in the mining plan. Next quarry is showing 12%, another quarry is showing 18%, 16, 28. Look at this other image. It has got all these physical disturbances. What do you see there? Structural continuities, textural continuities. In the quarry 2, same happening. Quarry T. If you take all the quarries and make it as a B, C, D in 4 square kilometers area, 4 by 4 square meter area, all the quarries are there. Consider this as a mega quarry. Let us consider this as a mega quarry. And what could be the, see, this is about 10.74 kilometers area. Okay, sir. Then these are the recovery percentages of all the quarries. There are various recovery percentages shown in each quarry. Okay, sir. And what is the recovery percentage of the mega quarry? Imagine the entire thing is one quarry. Yes.
Okay, Rao, now Dr. V.D. Rajgopal, ex-director of would like to come on the...
Veeramaniji is interpreting. He's saying something. Let Veeramaniji say.
Sir, one point. You need every quarry every quarry in their own area, they need to keep a small museum of the defective stones. You
Yes.
please show what is the defect. Which book says the defect? Mr. Dr. Yadav and you are geologists, expert, doctorate. And is there any textbook for the geology students
No. No.
on granite stone, decorative stone,
No, sir.
processing stone?
No.
Do we know what are the stones that can be exported, that can be not exported? Is there any document?
No. We don't have.
Okay, sir.
I have one.
Shall I go to next question?
Akshadeep Mathur is speaking.
That's
Yeah,
where
one
Raj-
point, sir.
No,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Please allow me just 1 minute.
Please,
Okay,
please.
okay. Please go ahead, sir.
I want to say that, see, there are certain fundamental issues like first come, first serve, and do away with the environment clearance for smaller leases, the MSME leases. So let us all get together and make a representation that will carry a lot of force.
Super, sir. Very good.
The common issue, we should have a common representation.
Fine, we'll do it.
I think.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For common issue,
Rajgopal ji.
let's have a common representation.
No, this has been brought up by a lot of Karnataka quarry owners also.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity given to me by Mr. Rao Garu. Otherwise, I was not knowing about it. See, only few points. See, with regard to this policy amendments by Government of India to Section 8 of MMDR Act, the thing is, Section 5 and up to 13 is not applicable to minor minerals. As far as MDF is concerned, they have amended Section 9 of the Act, and equally they have amended Section 15 of the Act, since Section 15 is applicable to all minor minerals. Therefore, I suggest that this association can request Government of India to incorporate same provision of 50 years under Section 15, so that state governments have no option and they have to grant leases for 50 years. That is one suggestion.
Yes.
And with regard to granite conservation and development rules, this dumping of waste, lease periods, all these common issues better be dealt under granite conservation and development rules, so that each state government cannot make their own law. For example, in the MMDR Act amendments in 2016, they have issued one amendment saying that mining lease includes dumping area also. Say once it is included dumping area also, whatever waste dump you are transporting, you need not pay royalty at the time of transport for waste dump, and it can be dumped in your yard. It is also mining leased area, and whenever you are selling that dumped area for some other purposes like jellystone or even small blocks, you can again get revenue. So that way, that also you can ask for. And with regard to MDF fund, my request is, it is, some speaker told already, it is misused like anything. See, unfortunately, the district collectors, they don't realize the entire mining activity is spoiled only because the chunk of IAS officers, I'm sorry to say it, because they don't, our administration don't believe on technical persons. And therefore, what I suggest is, there is a trust appointed for the spending of this amount for each district. Let the association people be enrolled as members in the trust. And alternatively, I suggest that there may be an audit committee by the association, so that under Right to Information Act, you can get every chunk of information, how you are spending, and you can question, and if necessary, you can raise a public interest litigation. This way only you can control this MDF. This is my suggestion. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Many
Thank you,
thanks.
Dr. Rajgopalji. You have put a fact very beautifully, and you have well said about all the facts. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now there is a question. Committee is required to be set up, to be constituted to address the difficulties to the quarrying sector, quarry development. But as all of you know, Quarry Development Committee is already there in FIXI under the chairmanship of Sri Krishna Prasad, our General Secretary. And Mr. Anirudh has put a question: separate rules of EC as far as dimensional stone. I request Krishna Prasad to answer.
I request Rao.
Rao, you will
CH Rao to answer that.
I can speak, sir. I can tell about that.
Yeah, Anirudh.
Anirudh, we have been pitching for that idea in the both center and states, sir. We have been trying to group granite as like Mr. Veeramani is saying always, make granite as a separate entity, separate mineral entity, so that it gets its own by virtue of its internal characters or by virtue of its intrinsic qualities. It will have its own what you call legal and these things. So we have been pitching for this. We spoke to Ministry of Mines and Center. We have been speaking about this thing in various representations. We have been talking about it in Andhra and elsewhere. So I think we will definitely work on that, sir. Sure. It's a good idea. Actually, Madhuri speaking.
Yeah. I want to say that instead of pitching for granite or marble or any other industry, let us pitch for MSME mines.
Yes.
Everything will be included in that.
Perfect.
And you will have a bigger strength. And right now, Mr. Gadkari is very much powerful for MSME sector. Just to share with you, there are 60,000 MSME mines in the country. We have a huge force. We can create additional employment of 1 million people. Let us all get together and work for away with environment clearance for MSME mines.
Ishwinderji.
Yes, Mathurji, you are.
Yes, sir.
आपको करना सर. You need to get into this.
No, I'm noting down the time. Don't worry, I'm noting what we have.
बढ़िया idea है माथुर साहब का.
Excellent idea.
Your idea is well taken. As you know, even the development council, they wanted to include development council, but we have objected for that. Your idea about MSME mining is very important. It's well taken. Rao, there is
I have already sent the representation. I've already sent the representation to Mr. Rao. WhatsApp.
Dr. Rao, there is another question for you.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Rao, are you there? Dr. Rao.
Sir, tell me I'm there.
Is there any development in the motion I consider as an infection?
Hello?
Question for you, Dr. Rao.
Yeah.
Is there any development in the motion to consider mining sector as an industry?
Sir, we had a preliminary discussion with the Commerce Ministry in DIPP, Department of Industrial Promotion and Policy. Later it was converted into other name. We had an initial discussion. They wanted a policy paper on how these industry shutters will help the industry. So I spoke about this to Krishna Prasad ji. We wanted to create a document, a pan-Indian document.
Sir, it is done already in Gujarat.
No, I want a pan-Indian document. A pan-Indian document giving exact, figures and data about how it is going to help the industry in terms of, cheap funding finances from the NBFCs and banks, and also the various, how does it help the industry? So they want a thesis kind of thing, but we are unable to do it. It was pending for past 1.5 years. I pitched this idea with the FIGSI to help, because it's a huge, enormous document. AP by itself cannot do this. We need to work with various states, because FIGSI has access to data of all the other states. We can work with this, and I think Mr. Krishna should speak about this. I think he should.
Thank you.
I will suggest that let us not get mines into the MSME sector, into an industries area. You will be attracting one more rules and regulation.
No, that is there, sir. But whatever it is being given to the downstream industries, all those subsidies, we are not getting the input subsidies on the machinery.
Ask for all the facilities to be given, and don't change the nature of from mines to industry. Otherwise, one more law will be implemented.
No, we need to discuss in threadbare about this, sir. I understand. We will discuss
Mr.
about
Ram,
this.
as you said, see, now when they have considered hotel as an industry, and this mining this mining sector also can be called as an industry. I think
We should discuss it at a separate forum. We will discuss the same thing.
And there is a question from Mr. Kamal Khan. Why Karnataka not taking action in auctioning and other policies? Mr. Krishna Prasad has to answer.
I'm sorry to say that Karnataka formulated the policy in 2016. It's 4 years since we formed the policy, and the government is just sleeping. Not even a single quarry has been auctioned so far. Of course, we are pitching for the reversing the policy, but neither they are doing that nor this. So I think everybody knows this state of affairs in Karnataka is very bad. Very sad.
Already they introduced the auctioning 2 times earlier, but they have failed.
It's a failure. Or ended up in.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Anyway, now time is up. Now I request Mr. Krishna Prasad, our General Secretary, to give a vote of thanks.
Few words from the President. Few words from President also.
Okay, sir. President,
Okay, I'll sum up. I have noted down there 4 things which we have to do. One is the mining manual as suggested by Mr. Veeramani. Second is upgradation fund for stones as it is being done in sugar industry and textiles. One is a common representation by all state.
Yes.
And what Mr. Mathur has suggested, MSc Mines, excellent idea. I would appreciate. He is based in Jaipur. Once the COVID problem is over, I'll discuss with them and we'll give a proper.
Yes, sir.
Once it is. Now over to Mr. Prasad for a vote of thanks.
You have noted very important points. Thank you very much.
Yes,
You
sir.
have noted very important points.
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Krishna Prasad, vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. First of all, let me thank all the speakers, Founder President Shri R. Veeramani ji, Shri Akshaydeep Mathur ji, Mr. Mahesh, Shri Sudarshan Rao, Keshav Murthy, Harpal Singh ji, Dr. C.H. Rao, and also Dr. Rajgopal, who has joined us and shared his thoughts. Thank you very much, all of you, sir. I would also like to thank all the participants. There are about 140 plus at one point in time. Of course, as the time went on, now it's come down to 66 for participating in this webinar. And I've also interacted with the speakers. I would also like to thank our core moderator, Sri Guru Shastri Math, for moderating this session. Thanks to our president for coming up with this excellent idea. This is the second of the series. We'll be going ahead with few more webinars on various subjects.
Yes, sir.
As Mr. Guru has already told you. So this idea is, during this pandemic and this lockdown, I think this has worked very well. We are in touch with each other, sharing the ideas, sharing the developments, and we continue to do this. Once again, I would like to thank all of you for joining in today's session. Thank you all once again. All. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir, did you record the idea, whole thing?